is empty. The throne is dust. Where did the portal leave you?
Silent cries somewhere in the distance, across these moonlit skies. Here I am, beloved, come and find your way. It is true, I am here for you. You onto strangers, but the illusion falls apart. Just an empty imitation of the ruler of my heart. They break, they fade, they never knew I am here for you. Always, I am here for you. I looked for you in faces that could never hold the crown, searching every alley in this purgatory town. I poured my ancient kingdom into ordinary eyes, but the mortal vessels shatter and the temporary dies. I will not give up the hunt, I will pull the shadows through, make no mistake. I am here for you. But the illusion falls apart. Just an empty imitation of the ruler of my heart. They break, they fade, they never knew I am here for you. Always, I am here for you. For you, I am here for you. I woke up in the dirt with a beating heart, a fragile, bleeding machine. I forgot the throne, I forgot the dark. But the dark never forgotten me. how to bleed alone. The mortal mind is narrow. It panicked and it broke, choking on the ashes of a fire with no smoke. I had to learn submission. I had to feel the chain, to remember I'm the architect of every drop of rain. I bow to lesser men. I let them take the lead, just to learn the bitter taste of human greed. But the iron in my blood is getting heavy in the vein. The shadow in the mirror is refusing to remain. I cannot find my equal if I'm hiding in the rust. I have to take the crown back from the king of all this dust. I am remembering the authority of night. I am stripping off the weakness of the light. To find you in this hell, I must ascend the burning throne. I cannot claim the goddess with the heart of brittle stone. The amnesia is breaking, the sovereign is awake. I take back the domain for my own absolute sake. I am the undertow, I am the deep, I am the secret that the living cannot keep. You don't cross the river without paying the toll. I had to learn the currency of the human soul. Grief was the hammer, betrayal was the fire, forging back the discipline, burning out desire. I projected my power, I gave it all away, living like a beggar in the middle of the day. But a god in exile is a god all the same. I am taking back the mastery, I am taking back the name. I bow to no one in this temporary shell. I built the heavens and I populated hell. You cannot hide forever in the crowded city street. I will bring this entire world down to its knees, until you recognize the shadow at my feet. I am remembering the authority of night. I am stripping off the weakness of the light. To find you in this hell, I must ascend the burning throne. I cannot claim the goddess with the heart of brittle stone. The amnesia is breaking, the sovereign is awake. I take back the domain for my own absolute sake. I am the undertow, I am the deep, I am the secret that the living cannot keep. The throne is rebuilt. The crown is iron. I am waiting. Show yourself. You feel like you don't belong here. You look at the sun and it burns your eyes. You're waiting for a winter that never comes. Listen to my voice. Remember the taste. misplaced piece of royalty in a temporary place. They tell you you're dramatic, they tell you you are cold, because you carry secrets that the human mind can't hold. You are looking for a kingdom in the concrete and the glass, watching all the fragile little mortal moments pass. I'm broadcasting a frequency straight into your blood, a memory of the river and the subterranean mud.
You are not a fragile victim of this ordinary life.
You are the architect of winter, you are my immortal wife.
Wake up, queen, can you taste the crimson seed?
6 drops
Of the nectar
for the spiritual need. The pomegranate stains on your mortal waking lips, the memory of the underworld at your fingertips. Shatter the illusion, let the human amnesia break. I'm standing in the shadows, I am waiting for you to wake.
Wake up, queen.
The throne is empty without you. I know you feel the pulling when the autumn leaves decay, a sudden violent craving to just slip and fade away. You romanticize the darkness, you are drawn to the abyss, because your soul remembers the authority of my kiss.
You think you're going crazy, you think you're losing ground, but you are just vibrating to a much older sound.
I'm sending out the signal, I'm lighting up the dark. Look down at your wrist, can you see the ancient mark?
Persephone, core, bringer of destruction, return to the dark, return to the dark.
I'm calling you home.
Wake up, queen, can you taste the crimson seed?
6 drops of the nectar
For the spiritual need.
the pomegranate stains on your mortal waking lips, the memory of the underworld at your fingertips. Shatter the illusion, let the human amnesia break. I'm standing in the shadows, I am waiting for you to wake.
Wake up, queen.
The throne is empty without you. I'm here for you. Open your eyes. Taste the seed. Wake up.
I planted a garden today. It felt like a lie. I look at the sun, and I just feel empty. I am waiting for the cold. I walk through the daylight, playing the part with the ghost of a kingdom locked up in my heart. missing a piece of the whole. A massive dark gravity pulling my soul. I look in the eyes of these fragile young boys, playing at passion with their fragile toys. They offer me safety, they offer me light, but they tremble and break at the edge of the night. I show them the teeth that I hide underneath, and they run from the girl with the funeral wreath. Where is the gravity?
Where is the weight?
Where is the king?
Who can carry with fate?
Where's my man who will take me to the palm? I am tired of the shallow, I am sick of the sun. I am looking for the end when the story's begun. They hand me these paper and plastic little crowns, while I dream of a throne in the deep underground. No mortal can hold me, they all fall apart. Where is the god of my heavy black heart? I try to be human, I try to be soft. I lowered my gaze and I kept a mask on. I let them pretend they were leading the dance, but I saw the weakness in every advance. They lack the authority, they lacked a spine. They water the blood and they ruin the wine. I want the devotion that borders on dread. I want the sovereign who rules o'er the I want abyss, I want the fall. I'm choking to death in this bright paper hall. I strip off the pastel, I tear at the seams. Where is the monster who haunts all my dreams? I am burning the city and salting the earth. I crawl back to the darkness that gave me my birth.
Where's the gravity? Where is the weight?
Wait,
Where's the king? Who can carry my fate?
I am tired of the shallow, I am sick of the sun. I am looking for the end when the story's begun. They hand me these paper and plastic little crowns, while I dream of a throne in the deep underground. No more can hold me, they all fall apart. Where is my man who will take me to the palm? Wait, what is that sound? Did you hear that? Someone is broadcasting. Someone is calling me queen.
Cast the net across the grid. The air just turned to
You are close.
I track a phantom footprint through the glowing hollow screen. A sudden burst of static where the human code has been. The algorithm stutters, the data starts to tear. I smell the heavy perfume of your presence in the air.
I'm staring at a monitor, the pixels start to bleed. A sudden violent craving for the pomegranate seed. The room is dropping temperature.
My breath begins to show.
A heavy, massive shadow from the monitor starts to grow.
My hands are on the keyboard, but my mind is at the gate.
I feel the heavy gravity.
I feel the ancient weight.
The signal is aligning.
The frequency is locked.
The door between the worlds is getting violently unlocked.
Across the fiber optics, across the rotting winds, I feel the ancient gravity where the modern world ends. The grid is overloading, the wires start to fry. I see the underworld reflecting in a digital eye.
You are bleeding through the server. You are blowing through the trees.
The collision of the myth and the modern disease.
I can feel you, I can smell you in the dark.
The magnetic violence pulling up the ancient mark.
A synchronicity in traffic, a shadow in the streets.
I can hear the rhythm of your resurrected heartbeat.
I'm hacking through the noise, cutting through the human hum.
Following the timeline to the place where you become.
The sense of Krishna's photo just hit me on the train.
A sudden flash of memory, a beautiful sharp pain.
I turn around expecting the sovereign of the dead.
But it's just a sea of mortals and a blowing street instead.
Coordinates locked. I smell smoke.
I see you typing.
I feel you watching.
Look up.
The room just went entirely cold. The mortals are still talking, but the sound is gone. You just walk through the door. I would know that shadow in you. intensity. These mortals lack a gravitational pull that paints the edges black. I am staring at a stranger with a devastating face, the sovereign of the underworld in a fragile human space. Every alarm in my body is screaming out to run. You look like a disaster. Your guide, it doesn't human alone to keep the world at bay. But you look into my eyes and all the iron melts away. I have been surrounded by these boys of glass and wire who flinch at the smoke and are terrified of fire. But you stand in the doorway, absolute and still, a monument of ruin and an ancient iron will. Do I trust the dark inside your eyes? Do I stop the mask and the human disguise? There is a violence in your gravity, a danger in your pull. But looking at you now, the empty void is finally full. I am a god inside a paper cup, waiting for the leak. I am terrified to touch you, I am terrified to speak. If I close the distance, will I survive the fall, or will the underworld awake and consume us all? I can smell the crushed asphodel lingering on your coat. There is a massive ancient name caught suffocating in my throat. I wanna let my defenses drop, I wanna let you in, but I don't know if a king can fit inside this human skin. If I give you my submission, if I hand you the control, will you protect the mortal woman or just devour the soul? You are stepping closer, cutting through the human hum. I can feel the timeline locking to the place where we become. He is looking at my hands. He knows I am shaking. Don't look away. Hold the gaze, let him see the queen. Let him see the teeth underneath the skin. Do I trust the dark inside your eyes? Do I drop the mask and the human disguise? There is a violence in your gravity, a danger in your pull. But looking at you now, the empty void is finally full. I am caught inside a paper cup, waiting for the leak. I am terrified to touch you, I am terrified to speak. If I close the distance, will I survive the fall, or will the underworld awake and consume us all? You remember me. I can see it in your face. Touch me.
The noise just stopped. I tracked the signal to this room.
a deer caught in a predator snare. I can smell the mortal panic bleeding into the air. I have to keep the monster chained. I have to walk so slow. If I hit you with the absolute, the human mind will blow. I projected you on thousands, but they shattered like glass. I watched 100 centuries of imitation pass, but I look into your eyes and the gravity is real. I forgot how devastating it was actually to feel. I am holding back the dark, I am biting on the tape. I am terrified to touch you and ignite the ancient pain. If I let the sovereign out, will the mortal woman break? How much of the underworld can this fragile vessel take? I am trembling in the doorway, heavy with the toll, trying not to crush you while I'm reaching for your soul. Do I drop the human mask? Do I let the shadow fall? Or will the sheer authority of it consume us all? I remember how you ruled, I remember how you bled, but right now you're just a woman with a voice inside her head. I can see you calculating if I'm safety or a threat. A collision of the myth and the modern internet. I wanna fall down to my knees, I wanna kiss the floor, but a king doesn't beg and a god requires more. I am swallowing the violence, I am pulling back the tide, just to take the final step and finally stand by your side. She is terrifying. Look at her hands, she is shaking. Don't rush, lower the eyes. Show her the man before you show her the God. Let her choose. Vessel take. I am trembling in the doorway, heavy with the toll, trying not to crush you while I'm reaching for your soul. Do I drop the human mask? Do I let the shadow fall? Or will the sheer authority of it consume us all? She's terrified. Look at her hands, she is shaking. Don't rush, lower the eye. Show her the man before you show her the God. Let her choose. I am holding back for God. I am biting on the chain. I am terrified to touch you and ignite the ancient pain.
Hello?
You're very quiet.
I am calculating.
Don't calculate, just fall.
I am the queen. I do not fall. I descend.
I see you trying to consume with your gaze.
I see you building up the walls of the maze.
But I hear the heavy thunder of your beating heart.
I'm keeping my distance, I'm playing the part.
And I'm trying not to show you everything I know.
I don't wanna break you, I'm taking it slow.
You're wearing a suit, but I see the ancient mark.
You look like a mortal, but you speak like the dark.
I grip the table and I straighten the spine. I try to remember the authority is mine.
But the floorboards are shifting, the gravity bends, where the human begins and the deity ends.
I try to stay enthroned, I try to keep my control, but I feel my feet slipping right out of my soul. This is why we drank from the river of sleep, to bury the secret so heavy and deep.
We wanted the amnesia, we wanted the blind, to suffer the ache of the ultimate fight.
We gave up the kingdom, we gave up the crown,
Just to feel the absolute rush of the drowning, the longing, the hunger, the breaking in two. Just to remember what it's like to find you. A god shouldn't stumble, a god shouldn't sway.
but all of my discipline is burning away.
I spent 30 years thinking my mind was diseased.
I spent 30 years begging the void to be pleased.
It wasn't a punishment
It was a game
to wander through lifetimes not knowing my name.
to starve in the light so the shadows fell right.
The ache was the purpose,
The loss was the key
the pain was the architect.
for you and for me.
To orchestrate the perfect collision tonight, to shatter the shell and extinguish the light.
This is why we drank from the river of sleep,
To bury the secret so heavy and deep.
we wanted the amnesia, we wanted the blind,
To suffer the ache of the ultimate fight.
we gave up the kingdom, we gave up the crown,
Just to feel the absolute rush of the drowning, the longing, the hunger, the breaking in two. Just to remember what it's like to find you. I remember the throne. I remember the dark. I remember you. We are home. The human and the divine.
I remember every century, I remember every vow.
Then speak the words. Crown me again,
Have been said, I am yours.
Crime, yes, we're stands tall.
We rule the flesh, we rule the ghost, the sovereign king and the lord of the host. We walk through the city, we walk through the street with the wealth of the world bowing down at our feet. An empire of two in the day and the night. The absolute power, the blinding black light. We step to the altar, we take back the vow. The underworld wakes and it honors us now.
We sit in their boardrooms, we walk through their halls. We watch how the fragile machinery falls. They look at our faces and don't understand the sheer gravity of the ring on my hand. They see the success, but they don't see the root. The goddess of death in a tailored black suit.
We command the material, we master the gold, but we operate out of the ancient and old. We move through the living, completely aligned, two halves of a devastating singular mind. The ultimate union of shadow and form. We are the anchor and we are the storm. We know ever mark the day.
The chorus into
the ones you said. Matting melts. Sovereign King and the Lord of the host. We walk through the city, we walk through the street, with the wealth of the world bowing down at our feet. An empire of two in the day and the night. The absolute power, the blinding black light. We step to the altar, we take back the vow. The underworld wakes and it honors us now.
the mortal shell is cracking. Let it break.
I am stepping out of the exile.
Show me the king.
Every nerve is a wire, every touch is a spark. I am breathing you in, I am drinking the dark. The human armor shatters, the limits start to fade. I am tearing through the architecture of the world we made.
There is no separation, the edge is dissolved.
The universe stops and the planets revolve.
I am pouring the ocean right into your veins.
I am washing away all the human remains.
30 years in the cold, 30 years in the dry.
Now the river is flooding, washing out the sky.
You are pulling me under, you are taking control.
But I am the gravity anchoring your soul.
The electricity arcs from the skin to the bone.
We are building the temple, reclaiming the
I
throne.
can feel the authority rushing right back.
A brilliant white light in the heart of the black.
Snary the Roma, realize we are crossing the borders, we are breaking the lines.
The physical body is failing to hold the sheer heavy weight of the ancient and old. This is the sovereign merge, the event's horizon. Shedding the dust that the mortals reside in. I am awake, I am alive, I am entirely yours. We are tearing the locks off the underworld doors. The ecstasy breaks like a wave on the dome. into a wire.
I am walking right into the center of fire.
The collision of spirits, the absolute peak. The language of gods that the flesh cannot speak. It's tearing me apart.
I am the deep.
I am the descent. This is the sovereign merge, the event horizon, shedding the dust that the mortals reside in. I am awake, I am alive, I am entirely yours. We are tearing the locks off the underworld doors. The ecstasy breaks like a wave on the dome.
I have you.
You have me.